You That's the end of my workout for today.